Hello everyone, we are students of English Education Department at University of Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. We would like to conduct an interactive dialogue about education during the pandemic era. I am Risma Dwi Aryanti as the second resource person, and there are also Selvia Putri as a news anchor and Tiara Salsabila as the first resource person. What we are waiting for?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Come back with me. I am Selvia Putri on ABCT channel on Dialog Interactive. Today we're going to discuss about the education during pandemic with our special experts Tiara Salsabila and Risma Dwi Aryanti. Hello Tiara and Risma, it's nice to see both of you today.
Hello Selvia, I'm glad to be here with Risma. And how about you, Risma?
Hello, Selvia and Tiara. I am honored to have been invited to participate as a resource person on the show.
You two are sitting here today because of you two are extremely knowledgeable experts. In regards to the topic that we will be discussing today, pandemic has impacted several aspects in human lives, including education. So, Tiara Salsabila, as head volunteer of ABCD Senior High School, I would like to ask you, what's your talk about the learning activities during this pandemic, and what is significant impacted occur the educational world during pandemic?
In the current pandemic era, learning is carried out online because there is no other choice except online learning. Because until now, it has not been possible if learning is carried out face-to-face. Online learning certainly has a significant impact, both negative and positive impact. The negative impact is quota and also network problems. As we know, online learning certainly requires a large quota. Even though the government has given free quota to teachers and also to students every month, but sometimes it's not enough. And also the network, because not all students and teachers have a good network, especially those who live in a remote area. It will hamper the teaching and learning process. And also, saying so often a cell phone or laptop screen, it can damage our eyes. Therefore, today many children who are still young are already wearing glasses. Students will also feel bored quickly because they are less interactive when learning online.
Okay, Risma, as senior educator at New Senior High School, are the changes that have occurred as a result of pandemic a burden on both students and teachers? And what are the most common issues that arise in online learning?
Okay, thank you for your question, Selvia. And in the world of education, distance learning takes time and careful planning. Many educational institutions already have distance education facilities and infrastructure in place, and it is only a matter of using and developing it. This pandemic poses a challenge for all educational units to continue providing the quality service for their students. But some educational units are unable to face the challenge. As a result, the teaching and learning process is not carried out properly. It seems clear to me that distance learning is burden for students and teachers who do not have distance learning facilities and infrastructure, especially in terms of internet connections. I believe that there is a common issues in distance learning based on the many obstacles in it. That is misunderstanding on teaching and learning process, as well as difficulties in accessing online learning features for students and teachers in remote areas.
Alright, I got the point. So then how could you handle it when you have the online class with the students?
To avoid misunderstanding, I usually give them opportunities to ask me more questions, and I also try to explain the material as simply as possible so that I can solve my problems. However, due to a lack of internet and technology, I reasoned that I could simply give them more time for submit their assignment or download the material.
So you try to do your best for this distance learning, right? And for both of you, could you all predict when the offline learning will be held again?
During a pandemic, this is a frequently asked question. To be honest, none of us here can predict when this pandemic will end. However, some of us can make an effort to return to face-to-face learning, even if it will not be the same as before. Blended learning is more secure and efficient to implement. Aside from the fact that there are fewer students and teachers, learning activities can be more focused because the teacher's focus is not divided as much for other students.
I agree with Tiara, but I believe face to face learning can be carried out now if the levels of education that will implement it is considered. Uh, I believe blended learning would be used in secondary and tertiary education because the students in secondary and tertiary levels should already be aware of the pandemic. In addition, more stringent of health protocols are must being implemented.
Well, both of you are give your opinion properly and based on all the explanations that both of you share and give to us. Do you agree with this statement if blended learning could be one solution for educational system during pandemic's era?
Yeah. Online learning is considered ineffective and maximized if it is applied to school with inadequate infrastructure. So the solution is that the government must provide adequate facilities and infrastructure so that all learning can run smoothly. Then, with the policy of providing training through webinars or workshops on the teaching and learning process for educators and education personnel, it can improve the quality of this educational institution in providing service to the students. Online learning makes the student bored, so the teacher must make learning as fun as possible so that students are enthusiastic and focused in the learning process. And for network problems, the government must cooperate with a provider so that the internet network can be reached by Indonesia, especially in remote areas. In terms of parental assistance during online learning, commitment from parents is needed to be willing to take the time to accompany students when carrying out learning activities.
Yes, same as Tiara. I think so. If blended learning could be one of the solutions for education in this pandemic era, as long as we could obey all the health protocols and all the aspects in the government, and we also should be cooperative to provide the facilities during this blended learning.
It's amazing. It's such a good statement from both of you. From the way I could make the conclusion if COVID-19 pandemic has quite negative impact for education world, especially on social interaction fellow students and teacher. But moreover, this learning process need to be effective. And based on our two experts, blended learning could be one solution for the several problematics during this pandemic in education world.
Okay, that's all our interactive dialogue. We apologize if we make a mistake, especially in our words. And thank you for you all who already watched this video. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.